Well, hello everyone, it's Umbra Rays after a long and hard stream coming off of the 4th anniversary live stream, and you know what? I'm going to say this. There was, of course, some disappointments because, this is a business that they're running. They need to make money. So, of course, when it comes to free stuff, people are going to be a little annoyed, and the number of 100 cost characters that we're going to talk about tonight is not low. But that being said, with a lot of the complaints that have been lodged against Wotv for the last couple of years, the fact that I think that last anniversary there were some definite more downs in terms of the stuff that we had, I'm gonna go so far to say that I actually think that this live stream, despite it being 2.5 hours and everything, was actually a good amount of fun with some really great actual announcements in the middle of it. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about this 4th anniversary live stream, shall we? And starting off, we had just the full batch here tonight. We had everybody in here talking about everything that was going on. We have voice actors, we have the producer, the game director. Like, Hiroki is not here, which is kind of weird because he was actually added to the overall team. And you feel like the global should be, or worldwide should be included in this. So unfortunately, I don't have any details on the timing of that. Also, the one in front of the flowers, or behind the flowers, I should say, well, depending on your perspective, I guess, is the voice actress for young Helena, which the fact that she was being included in the stream kind of told us that maybe there was something that was going on. And yes, it is true. The rumors are true. There's going to be 100 costs to talk about later. But anyway, getting into the live stream, the obvious big thing was going through the announcements. And there are just a bunch of announcements to go through. And yeah, let's get to the collaboration. And for that, we're going to cut the music out because my prediction this year was not correct. And most of the time, as a predictor, you kind of want to be right. But this time, I'm totally happy being wrong. So, wow, what to say? Back-to-back new collaborations. First Final Fantasy VIII, and now Final Fantasy IX. So Final Fantasy IX will be coming to Wotv on November 1st for JP, and worldwide and global, undoubtedly, shortly after. But let's talk about this collaboration. 3 characters will be added to Wotv, starting off with, of course, the leading man, the thief with a heart of gold. We're talking about Zidane, who will be a wind elemental dagger type character and a 100 cost character. Next up is Garnet. Garnet will be a earth elemental 90 cost magic attacker with healing abilities as well. And she is of the earth element, in case I didn't mention that, because lots of details. And last but not least, Vivi will be joining as a dark elemental 100 cost rod wielding mage. And I do believe that Garnet is a mace wielding character. I think that detail has slipped my mind, but anyway. And last but not least, the boss included in this event will be none other than Kuja. So expect Kuja in a part 2 collaboration coming sometime in the future. So yeah, we're also looking at 2 vision cards. Both of them are holo vision cards. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff to do with this collaboration, including events and whatnot. And we'll talk about that in a second. But as you can see, featuring off their limit bursts, Vivi is getting Doomsday. Garnet is getting a massive kind of Alexander-style AoE heal. And last but not least, Zidane getting one of his limit bursts. I want to say it's Solution 9 Grand Lethal. I actually don't remember it. I'm showing my age because I'm just getting forgetful, but yes. And last but not least, Garnet, the 90 cost character, will be the free login. So yes, another free Earth elemental character. Say whatever you will about it. Totally fine, and you're probably right. So anyway, the collaboration will start on November 1st and go to December 15th, which is pretty standard as collaborations normally last for that appropriate amount of time. And we can basically assume that the same timing will be this year as the previous year, where we are looking at probably a new collaboration announced around the end of the year. So that timing basically sets in. Also, apparently, young Helena's voice actress is super stoked for Final Fantasy IX. But the first batch of characters will be, of course, Garnet, the free one, and Zidane, a 100 cost wind elemental character, along with the first vision card. No details were shared about the vision cards, but expect them in the near future, at least for the first one. So Zidane, starting off. Now, Zidane's sub jobs are basically and let's bring up, thief with a sense of justice, so a type of variant on the thief job, but we're going to get into why this job is incredibly special in a second. Dragoon, a Dragoon style job, which I'm not 100% clear at this point in time of recording whether it is the newer Gurnspec style Dragoon or whether it is an older one, but I think it is actually the newer Gurnspec one, which is pretty awesome because it means spear synergy, which is also good for another reason we'll talk about later. And his other sub job will be spy, which I think is way better than thief anyway, so I'm happy to see. All right, so talking about his limit burst is a single target ability, which I think is actually pretty good nowadays. Obviously, there's single target resistance. But what's interesting about this one, oh, it is solution. Okay, I got it, kind of. Applies an effect that increases physical damage to the target for 3 turns large and reduces own AP consumption for 3 turns, which is a pretty awesomely, seemingly powerful limit burst. And in combination with other physical characters, could be a real tide turner for trying to get through a specific type unit with physical type attacks. But needless to say, I think that this is going to be very, very, very strong. Unlike certain other main characters recently that have been less than impressive, but not necessarily bad. I'm talking about Squall, of course. I think that Zidane is already looking like just very powerful off of this limit burst, since it effectively powers up not only his physical attacks, but other characters' physical attacks, and that's pretty scary. So talking about this guy, let me just this because I actually don't like the other screen I'm using. A physical vanguard type attacker, a job that allows you to aim for high damage and prevent targets' guts effects from being activated. But hold on, it gets even better. So let's go through these in order of interest. So first off, top right, damage to target after reducing single target attack resistance. Seems pretty good. Fairly decent range on it. Fine. Next up, is an ability, which is an AoE. As you can see, it has a cross pattern style hit and fairly high range on it. Activates an additional damage when taking damage from an ability for 3 turns, non-elemental damage. So basically an Astrius second style a hit attack, as well as also has no chain effect, I should say. Destroys barriers that prevent physical damage. Damages targets within range, medium, and reduces healing power for 3 turns. Now, all of that would be good enough to be just generally a strong character, but the bottom left ability is the one to be afraid of. Survival techniques of a thief. Even if you receive lethal damage, you will survive once. So, Immortal Spirit Guts basically survive fatal damage ability. That's pretty standard, right? Recover AP. Okay, that's pretty good too. Apply an effect that reduces magic damage for 3 turns. That's also generally pretty strong because it's survivability against a damage type that he may not necessarily have a lot of resistance against. Last one, an ability that seals the removal of Guts-style effects for 3 turns when an attack lands. So basically, if Zidane casts the ability on the bottom left, for example, first, and then casts the ability on the right, and hits all of the, let's just say theoretically, he hits all of the opponents with a single attack. All of the opponents, even if they have Guts removal, is now useless for 3 turns. In other words, meaning if your team has Immortal Spirit or Guts or Survive a Fatal Hit, it cannot be removed by the opponent if Zidane's attack hits them. This style attack is brand new. It's basically prevention. It does have a conditional clause to it, so I'd say that it is still fairly balanced, but this is incredibly strong and should not be taken in any other way. The fact that Guts removal is essentially more difficult now does mean that secondary style hits is very, very valuable. But the fact that Zidane is capable of removing Guts, has Guts, and can prevent people from removing his Guts, while also having a secondary hit attack as a insurance on top of all of this, is just pretty crazy. And I think that Zidane is undoubtedly going to be one of the strongest wind characters in the game, and potentially a bit of a meta shake-upper. All right. Next up, we're going to talk about Garnet. Now, first off, Garnet's main job is Princess of Alexandria. Secondary job is Sword Sorcerer, which is one of the newer jobs, but I can't remember which character has it, so I'm just going to pass. And last but not least is Kotodama, or Messenger, which is Sakura's main job. Now, talking about this, first off, her limit burst, as you can see, is a giant diamond AoE. Recovers HP while removing all weaknesses from allies within range large. Increases resistance to all attack types for 3 turns. Now, this style of ability can just be very, very dangerous in other games made by Gumi. All resistance type attacks, it depends on the percentages and numbers, but this undoubtedly could make Garnet very powerful and a very good support character for Earth. So we'll have to see about that one. Now, here's the interesting thing. Garnet's kit. Garnet is, for all intents and purposes, a fully designed summoner style character. Because her attacks essentially allow her to use espers to come forth and deal damage. They are not necessarily the Esper style attacks in full, but they are going to sound fairly familiar. So Garnet is a rear magic guard attacker, although she does have chanting time or casting time with her abilities. The abilities have wide range and can recover continuously, but it also has a job that can lowers hate so that she is not targeted. So very interesting. Top right ability, Protective Shell. Shell effect that increases range attack resistance of allies within range for 3 turns. Reduces magic damage as well as re-raise effect that automatically recovers you when you are incapacitated. So essentially she can give re-raise, she can increase range attack resistance, and it does look like a shell effect, although the way that is, let me just check another source, gives re-raise to self, allies range resistance up, gives shell. So yes, essentially. So interesting. Bottom right is the summoning of Dark Golem. After removing a Guts style effect, or Immortal Spirit, or Survive Fatal Damage, Earth dependent damage medium. And her bottom left ability is another new type of ability. So apparently continuous use will change this ability, but I'm not 100% clear on it, so I'm just going to say if I got something wrong, I will correct it later. But essentially, continuous use once will summon Dark Bahamut, which will do 2 non-attribute magic power damage attacks to targets within range large, and reduce mental penetration rate. I do believe that is absolutely correct. And last but not least, also has a consecutive use 2 activates recovery HP of allies within range. So there's two different ways that this could be. So Dagger appears from the end, is a magic attacker who fights with Dark Mega Flare and then a healing spell, which can attack and recover at the same time. So it's basically like Ferris's abilities. Now, I did hear something on stream that said that it changes, but I do believe that the way I'm reading this is it's essentially Ferris's ability. So it will attack, then heal. So I may think that Garnet is a fully realized type of summoner, and I'm very excited to see how strong she is as the free character. I am totally praise her. Starting on the 7th of November, Vivi will be coming to the game, which Dark Helena's voice actress is very excited about. Let's just get ahead and skip ahead. There will also be a new VC. I expect that the VC will be for Vivi. Now, talking about Vivi really quickly, Kind-Hearted Black Mage is his main job. Magic Swordsman and Red Mage will be his sub-jobs. He is a 100 cost Dark Elemental character. His limit burst is Doomsday, so the prophecy has been fulfilled. It is a large AoE, and it gives the following effect. After applying the effect of increasing magic damage to yourself for 3 turns, magic dependent damage large to targets within area, chance of stun off of this limit burst, which makes sense. If you get hit with a giant freaking meteor, you're probably going to need to take a turn off. The Vivi is a magic type attacker who attacks with Meteor 2, which is a diamond-shaped area attack that reduces elemental chain resistance and increases CT. He also has Flare, which is a huge attack of non-elemental damage that can release re-raise, so canceling out re-raise. Also, one of its features is accumulating while protecting, a buff that gives you and your allies the effect of sealing re-raise removal and allowing you to take countermeasures against your opponent who try to use re-raise. I think this bottom right ability is the one to watch, mainly because it is kind of something that Dark really uses. Dark does use a lot of re-raise, and here it will just be generally really good. What's interesting, though, is that it also has a protect effect that reduces physical damage to allies who are in an area around yourself for 3 turns. But so essentially we have the 2 characters. We have Zidane and Vivi, both 100 cost characters, one in wind, one in dark. Zidane essentially protects Immortal Spirit, whereas Vivi protects re-raise. Now, it does require you to hit your opponent, but both of these units seem to have generally up-to-date, well-to-made kits. So I'm expecting that both Dark and Wind are going to be pretty interesting going forward for the next. So both of these new VCs will be Holo VCs. By the way, we will do another video about Holo VCs later. However, Holo VCs, and by the way, we don't have any music, so let's just kick on a little bit of music for the rest of it. Sorry, I completely blanked on it. Too much to get through. Both of these are Holo VCs. We are missing details on exactly how Holo VCs will work. Not everything was said on stream, so please be patient. And as soon as we have all the Holo VC details, I will make a separate for it. Thank you. All right, continuing on, let's talk more about the FF9 event. So, new weapons, Mage Masher and Tiger Racket will be for these 2 characters, their respective characters. Continuing on, we will also have a bunch of different events. So the boss appearing this time is Kuja. Looks like we actually see Memoria, or sorry, not Memoria, but Terra Fields, which great, cool, love that place. That is one of my favorites. Vivi will also be getting his staff. So those are basically the 3 weapons for the event. And as for the box event, we will see the accessory of Tetramaster cards, which is just so awesome and amazing. Anyone who says anything bad about this is banned. Is he joking? I don't know. But anyway, yes, basically that is everything for there. And one last thing, there will also be another event for Final Fantasy IX, Festival of the Hunt. Try and kill as many enemies as possible in the number of turns that you have. This will reward with titles and potentially other rewards too, and will run from December 1st to December 8th. So 2 events, which I think is pretty cool. There will also be multiple things to help raise characters, including number of job points and all of that good stuff, as well as a bunch of different campaigns. So, continuing on, we actually had this bunch of just little mini games here, which was reward for presents, and then after all of that, we had some, hey, congratulations from different voice actors and everything like that. And now we got revealed the theme of the 4th anniversary, which is this. So let's take a look at this brand new artwork that has never, ever been seen before this. Damn it, we skipped over it somewhere. But anyway, this will be, I guess we'll just continue, and the artwork will be shown a little bit more later, plus some other artwork. So first off, this is the VC that everyone will be getting for anniversary. I don't remember hearing whether or not this was a holo. Oh, it is a holo VC, so good news for that. And then we have this video. Let's show this off.
戦力を増強したとはいえ、リオニスが列強に挟まれた小国であることに変わりはない。メイビア殿を通じてウェズエットと同盟を結び、ホルンとはベレッド家の助力で友好関係を強化する。こうして地道に地方を固め、望んだフェネスとの戦。我らリオニスを小国と侮ったことで、フェネスは王ガドラを失い一気に弱体化した。それもウェズエットとの同盟、そして指輪の力のおかげだった。フェネスの王ガドラにはまだ世継ぎが生まれていなかった。これでフェネスという国は滅びの道をたどるはずだった。しかし流す皆殺し、誰も生きてない。リオニス、フェネスになる。
So something that I think that a lot of people who have been wanting for a while is certain characters to potentially get new versions and come back. And this is exactly what this is. So this is the anniversary event starting on November 14th. A story-based event focused around young old, young Helena, young Moraga, young Curry, young O. So everybody who is a big fan of O, guess what? Potentially a new version to actually get and use. Congratulations. So yeah, this event will be starting on the 14th and will be a story-based event, and you can absolutely expect banners, which we'll talk about a second here. Just skipping a little bit ahead, let's show off just a little bit more here. So here is the key artwork for this bad boy. As you can see, we have young Helena, young old, young Glassy's mom, who I am not going to butcher her name, Maria? Okay, I'm going to butcher it a little bit. Moraga, Curry, and O, all featured in this artwork, as well as young Mont, young Glassy, and young Stern. And here is just a bigger version of that artwork for everybody. Aren't they friggin' adorable? So anyway, this event will be starting on November 14th. Exactly all the details we don't know too terribly much about, but we do know this. A 100 cost Helena was announced tonight for the light element with a brand new job, Queen of Thorns. This character, not many details were shared about her, but expect this to be coming to the game very, very near future, probably the same date as the event starts. And I'm just going to make a bold prediction right here. The VC that will be showing up about the time or slightly after this character will be the Alexander VC with the Alexander Esper. Don't at me. Anyway, but yes, that is essentially the Helena thing announcement, and you can probably expect old in the very near future. So next up, let's talk about the let's talk about a campaign. Let's we're gonna need all the volume for this one.
今なら最大400連召喚が無料 FF9 コラボも実施中今すぐダウンロード HG さん400連じゃなくて100連
There you go. That might be the weirdest thing that you've ever seen come on one of my videos, but we'll try and top it in the future. Yes, the 4th anniversary was announced with a 400 pulls being announced as a bonus, including a special 10 UR guaranteed 100 pull for everybody. So lots of stuff to enjoy there, as well as just multiple high bonus for drops, as well as you can see, like 15 times PvP. We can see 6 times, 4 times, just lots and lots of bonuses across, as well as UR shards. I believe like 1 per day, getting 4 URs, 10 shard piece. Anyway, moving on. Next up, challenge style event. In the summer, we had the fight against the weird boss from part 3, book 3 or whatever. Well, now we're going back to the snake tank. The snake tank, once again, the number of people who challenge it and beat it will be entered into a raffle where glorious prizes await the winner. It is a multi-style quest, so try and beat it. The number of people who beat it will also increase the rewards, which is interesting enough. If 10,000 people beat it, the overall lottery winnings will actually be doubled. So some lucky people will get 200,000 lapis, which is basically enough to last until the end of this year. Okay, so skipping ahead, yeah, all the details for that. And you would think that basically we've kind of hit the end of the stream, but as it turns out, there was a huge surprise coming for all of us, and one that I think a lot of Wotv players have been asking since the very beginning, the very first year, when a certain character named Jaden pulled out a weird, random character as a vision. Well, good news for everybody out there who has been waiting for this to happen for the longest time. It is finally coming true. That's right. The Veritas units are coming to Wotv. Starting November 22nd on the JP side at 3 p.m. Japanese Standard Time, Veritas of the Wind event will be open. But you may say, wait a minute, Umbra, this character doesn't have a cost. Wait a minute, this character doesn't have a banner? That's right. So in some style of selection quest or wave battle or some kind of trial-based system, you can actually unlock, use, and master all of the Veritases. So the Veritases will actually be like, as far as I know, like selection quest characters, and will actually be obtainable in-game for all characters. Starting off with Veritas of the Wind on November 22nd, with other Veritases to soon follow. Veritae? Anyway. In the background of this picture, you can see Veritas of Fire, Veritas of Water, and Veritas of Earth. No details were given about all of these characters, but I think we can guess that Veritas of Wind is probably some kind of spear character, which is pretty interesting with Glassy as well as Zidane coming along. So this should be an exciting month for wind-based players. But let's check out a video. My cat's having an existential crisis.
天が地の問いに答えることはない。地は天の声を受け入れるの。
So I do want to back up just a little bit there because we have this phrase, wait, who is that? Why, he looked almost kind of dark. That's right, we do see a hint as to Dark Veritas. Now, Light Veritas has already been shown off in the game, so I don't think people have to worry too much. But according to this line, all 8 Veritases will actually appear. That's right, all 8 elements are going to be getting a Veritas. The Thunder Veritas, which is a bow-based one, and I guess that means a new version of Gilgamesh. 2 seconds. As if this video isn't long enough, we have to go rescue the cat because he's having an existential crisis. But yes, all 8 Veritases have been essentially announced for Wotv, which is a pretty big deal, as this is something people have been asking since day 1. And as it turns out, while they're not gacha, Selection Quest units weren't terrible and were actually pretty fun. And if this is the way that we get these into the game without it being in an overly crowded release schedule, so fucking be it, as far as I'm concerned. This artwork is top notch and some of the best that we've seen in Wotv, and I cannot wait to see all 7 more that we have yet to be coming in the future. But yeah, I'm incredibly excited for this. This is something I've been wanting since since Light Veritas showed up in the story, and I cannot wait for all of it over the next few months. So yes, but hey, we're not done yet. We still have more. We actually have a story update coming on November 14th. If the video wants to load, thank you so much. That will be showing up on a special midnight update, but basically the start of a new chapter. Continuing on, there will be a 4th anniversary events such as a art-based contest. There will also be new Wotv merch. For anybody out there who loves bath towels, well, you can get a Helena bath towel or a Summer Glassy bath towel or a brand new shirt featured right here on stream by them, not me. Next up was the announcement of basically some UI improvements, the removal of certain things, basically November's improvements that we've talked about in a previous video. They've talked also about Holo VCs, but they didn't really give any more details than what we've essentially got. The only interesting thing mentioned so far about Holo VCs was the fact that apparently older VCs will have some kind of improvement quest for them, but details were incredibly scarce, and they say that they're still trying to nail down the details. So that's basically all I'm going to say about that for now. Next up, and I might have to do a summary video for this summary video because we're up to almost 40, we're over 30 minutes now. All right, looking at this, basically we have one of the biggest changes in all of Wotv history. Trust stones will no longer be equipped to trust masteries anymore. That's right, trust mastery stones will now be equipped directly to the character and not to TMRs anymore. What's also interesting is it seems that these stones are completely shareable between multiple characters, and you are able to use such features as creating sets and whatnot. And yes, you will no longer have to fiddle around so much with Trust Mastery stones. And this is amongst the other upgrades that have been already announced, such as the ease of essentially picking abilities with them and, well, essentially just making them incredibly less tedious than what they previously. So yes, hopefully that more details about that in the future, but an incredibly big upgrade. Now, getting closer and closer towards the end of everything that we need to actually talk about is this slide right here. So the talking about the awakening of old vision cards to make them stronger, the implementation of additional items for summon beasts to increase their SP, so that you can actually get more ability on their job boards, the improved playability, which this is a big one, bulk unit awakening, bulk limit breakthrough, improved unit familiarity, and summon animal resonance. Basically, they're getting rid of Esper resonance, so every character, when you get them, are immediately maxed with all the Espers that you have. Implementation of automatic rotations function for multi-quest and raids. Display your party always at the top of the guild screen. So when you go into guild battle, your party is always at the top so you can see your details and choose appropriately. Next up, delegate operation functions for second guild battle and modified additional ability when selecting Trust Mastery Stone. So that will become, these are updates that will be coming in the near future, but not necessarily in no. So a ton of stuff. From there were basically a bunch of shout outs to people who have done the best in Arena, Guild Battle, and all of that. Also, I want to shout out just the fact that they did talk about people who are supporting the game. So YouTubers and content creators who have stuck with the game. And right there, that name right there should seem very, very familiar. It's Peachin, one of the people we talk about. So shout outs to stream. Also, the number of people who have never missed a day's login was shown off. 2,135 people. Shout outs to them. Last but not least, overall rewards for the stream were as followed: plus 4,444 lapis. Don't get me started on the number and the number of lapis. I know it's not enough for all the 100 costs that were essentially announced, but there you go. So there is the rundown, and if you're saying to yourself, Umbra, this is still a 40-ish minute video, well, there really just was that much content to talk about tonight. And that's something to not complain about. The fact that there are just so many interesting things happening really shows that they are making a big effort to make the game more playable, more player friendly, and also just give a ton of stuff that people have been wanting for a long time, such as new collaborations, more events, more things to do, more side stuff, more characters, and also Veritas units. All in all, I think this is a strong anniversary, so look forward to lots of more videos about all the content coming. So, without further ado, thank you for watching. And I always have to look over here to make sure that I'm on buttons. This.